policy. If you're tired of year-long contracts and pointless restrictions, CHM offers anytime enrollment on your schedule and at your convenience. With CHM, you're paying half the cost of a traditional health insurance plan. So that puts more money back into your budget for everyday needs. Plus, you'll have access to CHM's care solutions for virtual appointments, prescription savings, surgery support, and more. My family and I joined in 2018, and it's changed our lives for the better. We love paying way less while helping other believers afford their medical bills. Take the leap of faith and see why Christians across the nation are better with CHM.
Get started by calling 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS for a 50% credit towards your first month. That's 1-833-JOIN-CHM and use promo code WELLNESS.
If you love your pet, which I know you do, then they deserve the excellent treatment and care they'll receive at Pacific Animal Hospital in Pacific, Missouri, a full-service veterinarian facility. Originally built and grown by my dad, Dr. Bill Jones, a new generation of wonderful veterinarians and staff at Pacific continue to provide outstanding medical, surgical, dental, boarding, and grooming services for your favorite furry friends. Our family entrusts the care of our pets only to the experienced docs and staff at Pacific Animal Hospital. You should too. Call them today, 636-257-2100, 24/7 at PacificVets.com, PacificVets.com.
This is Mark Harder with RE/MAX Results, the #1 RE/MAX franchise in the region. As a licensed real estate broker with RE/MAX Results for over 20 years, I've seen the ups and downs of many real estate markets, including the one we're in right now. With the spring market in full swing, now is the time to leap into the buying or selling of your home. Someday is not a day. Today is the day to make your move. Call me at 314-852-8933 or email me at markhardersells@gmail.com.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Tricia Burns never answers the call. Tricia Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Tricia Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Tricia Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Tricia Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Tricia Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
News Talk STL is celebrating our 5th birthday. And we're giving away a limited edition News Talk STL America 250 t-shirts. It's exclusive, it's collectible, and it could be yours. Just head to newstalkstl.com to register.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, News Talk.
Been listening since day one. Happy birthday to my talk station.
5 years, happy birthday.
News Talk STL.
News Talk STL. Happy birthday to us, and good luck to you.
Hey, it's Susie Moore for Window World. Did you know that in just over the last 20 years, Window World of St. Louis has improved the look and thermal efficiency for over 80,000 customers in St. Louis? Plus, Window World windows come with a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. And now, Window World is offering 36 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. Call them today at 800-GET-WINDOWS for a free in-home, no-pressure estimate. That's Window World at 800-GET-WINDOWS. They're the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com. From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
Well, the humidity's still down, but we're seeing an increase in cloudiness today with a high temperature of about 87 degrees. Not a bad summer day and should be rain-free, but becoming cloudy. Then overnight lows near 70 tonight. The humidity going up tomorrow, but more importantly, especially by the time we get into the afternoon and evening, there's a pretty good chance for showers and thunderstorms. There'll be a few showers around early in the day, but we could see some strong storms tomorrow afternoon and tomorrow evening, so remain weather aware. In the First Alert Weather Center, I'm KMOV meteorologist Kent Earhart.
This hour of Colombo and Company brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com.
Hello and welcome to Thursday afternoon. Super busy week. Lot going on across the country, across the world, and of course right here in the state of Missouri as we are just days away from the August primary. This Tuesday night, massively important election across the state. A lot of very important local issues and statewide issues, and we're going to dive right into it. We're going to talk throughout the show today. Randy Tolber is going to be with us in the 3 o'clock hour. We're going to get to all the important national stuff with Trump and Iran and Fauci and all those things, but we're going to also focus on these elections a whole lot. Dr. Tobler is with us in the 3 o'clock hour. Virginia Cruda from the Daily Wire will be with us in a little while. Byron Keelan from the Freedom Principle from Freedom Principle, Missouri, will be here with us in about 15 minutes to talk about these coming elections. And we kick things off with News Talk STL contributor, local business owner from Rockwood Lump Charcoal and Capriati Sandwich Shop, Jonathan Heslop, is in studio as we start this busy, important day. How are you, my friend?
I'm getting nervous.
Yeah,
getting
tell
nervous
me
about
Tuesday.
It.
I am getting. I've talked about how many ads I've been seeing recently, and they started 3 weeks ago or so, where I was starting to regularly get political ads, mostly about amendments 4 and 5, some candidate ads as well, but mostly about 4 and 5. But over the last couple days, I'm just getting bombarded with them, and I know I'm in the algorithm. Like they know the internet knows who I am and what I do, so they target me with that stuff, but I am just getting pounded.
It's not as many as the sports betting was 2
You're
years ago.
Yeah.
That was crazy. That was 3 or 4 commercials, every commercial break. But I tell you, I've been getting, it's every day or every other day, if not every day, on the realtor emails that I get. I've still got my real estate license, and I'm just getting bombarded by the real estate commission. Come pick up your yard signs. Come out and hold the pickets and signs and all this kind of stuff. And why? I don't understand why the realtors are against Amendment 5.
Yeah.
That means more money. People have more money to spend on houses. People will move to this state to buy houses. I don't get it.
So I don't either, and I agree with what you said at the beginning, how you're nervous. I am too, because I am surprised, like and really disappointed in how both with 4 and 5, and we're going to really dig into 4 with Byron from Freedom Principle in a few minutes. So I want to focus on 5 here for a minute while we have Jonathan here. But how much we've allowed the opposition to 4 and 5 to control the narrative and dominate the conversation. I was talking with Rodney Boyd yesterday. If you start to try to explain what 4 and 5 really are, just like the facts of where we're at right now, like the current income tax system and how it's not feasible for the future. If you just start to try to give facts, you immediately are labeled as like, oh, why are you taking a side? Like, I haven't even taken a side yet, but they've controlled the narrative so well that even just bringing up the issue, it's like you're defending one of the sides.
The whole argument of that people keep going back on is where are they going to replace the money? Save it. Stop spending it. That's how. Tony, if you or I lose our jobs tomorrow, do you think we can go to the unemployment office and say, well, that unemployment, that's not going to cut it. You guys are going to have to give me more money. Or go to your ex-employer or your new employer and say, they ain't going to cut it. No, you budget and you figure out how to live within your means. Mm-hmm. Why we give the government a free pass on that blows my mind, because we're still paying property taxes here. We're still paying personal property taxes. We're still going to be paying sales tax. How come they can't find a carve-out for income taxes or personal property taxes, for that matter? We've had that discussion many times, but that's not on the ballot this time. That's next time. So there are ways to save this money. They have figured out how to take this state's budget from in the 20s of millions to 20 billions to 50 billion over the course of the last dozen years or so. And they can't figure out how to spend or save a couple million in there to get rid of a couple billion. These numbers are so high. It just baffles my brain here that they can't find a way to save that money. And get this out of our hand, get this money coming from our checks, out of our pockets every single time. Yeah. And, it's one of those things with no one ever went to jail for not paying enough sales tax, not buying enough stuff to pay sales tax. They take that income tax out of your check before you ever get it. And if you don't pay it, oh my God, you're going to jail. But you can completely control how much you spend. Mm-hmm. And you can control where you spend it. So if I don't want to pay Missouri sales tax, I can go buy in another state that doesn't have sales tax. I can buy it there and drive back. I cannot buy it at all. I can buy it on the internet. I can buy it somewhere else. I can pick and choose where that tax goes and how much I spend.
Yeah.
You can't you could buy a bunch this weekend on a sales tax-free weekend. You could save your bucks and wait to buy your laptop or your computer or whatever until the weekend. You can't do that with income tax.
Yep.
It's coming out before you even see it, and then you have to fight the state every year in the spring to get it back.
Well said. And I don't know why the ads, the few ads out there, because it seems like it's 5-1 that the no on 5 and the no on 4 are so much more well funded, and we know why. Special interests don't want to give up these things, and especially when it comes to Amendment 4. But like that message is just not getting out there, and it's really frustrating that it's not. And you're exactly right. I hear the same thing, that the problem, people's issue with 5 is they don't like that we don't have the next piece in place yet, which I understand that concern. However, and then whenever you talk to somebody about that, it's like, well, if they're just going to make it a sales tax, but you trust these politicians? No, I don't trust these politicians. But back to what you said, I have more control if we change the system right now than what the system is right now, which I have no control over, like you said, and they're just taking it out immediately.
Tennessee, Texas, Florida, I mean, they're not having these problems.
Yeah, and there are laws and guidelines in place that the politicians can't just decide to make a 75% sales tax.
Exactly.
If they want to go on the other side
and
of
it's not just the politicians. It's the same. It says the municipalities can't do it either.
Right.
And that they have to equally reduce property taxes at the same time, which needs to be done anyway. So there's a lot of stuff going on in here. I don't think it was communicated very well. If you read the bill, it's hard to read, obviously. But if they would have put things in there in plain language that say, we're not going to tax real estate, well, then the realtors would not have an argument. And then we're not going to raise the sales tax more than this percent. You'll never see it higher than this percent. Because that was one thing that worried me initially when it first came out was, I mean, one of my restaurants is inside of a TIF area, and I mean, it's 11.238% already. I mean, that's one of the highest. I think the highest in the state is 12 something. I mean, but we're almost there. It's just by the time you add on all the municipalities and the county and then the TIF. Luckily, our TIF's going away. But there should be, if they would have put in there is nowhere that it's ever going to exceed 12%. Maybe that would have taken care of some things.
Yeah. I am very concerned, as you
are.
I
think they left it too ambiguous.
Yeah, and the second half of my concern is that if we don't do it now, are we ever going to get another chance? We've been screaming about eliminating income tax. Personal property tax should be. That should have been covered by now too. And then I'm sure it's going to. I'm not sure of anything, but I hope that it's next. But if we don't get this accomplished, if we're unable to eliminate income tax, are we going to have the same problem when we finally do get to personal property tax? Are we going to not eliminate that either?
That and IP reform. They've been trying to fix this forever. But we've had a Republican supermajority now for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, ever since I think it was 2016 that it started, and I don't get anything done. But that has to do with the initiative petitions, that anything that Republicans do, they'll come and try to take out next time. But, they can't get things through the legislature with the way that it's written with IP, because they're just going to get it taken away.
That's another great point, because I know that, in my discussions in recent weeks with Rodney Boyd, who's our Missouri political insider, he was on with us yesterday. He's on every Wednesday. And he's talking about his conversations about these issues. And one of the things that he keeps hearing from people that are suspicious about 5 or, not wanting to support Amendment 5 is that, well, why now? Like, there must be some reason that these politicians, which, again, I understand and agree with and hold the same suspicions when it comes to politicians and politics in the swamp in both Missouri and in Washington, D.C. But the answer to the question is why now is because we finally convinced them to do something.
Yeah, we had a good governor.
We've been yelling. Yeah, that too.
We had a governor.
It's a great point.
For all those years. I mean, as much as I was,
it wasn't a timing thing by the Republicans.
No,
it was we finally got around to
Governor Kehoe finally rallied the troops to do something because after what was it 7 years with Mike Parson, after the Greitens left, he didn't do anything. He didn't get it done. He was a really nice guy. I enjoyed those dinners I had with him, but he just did not rally the troops. He just
wasn't as engaged.
He spent a lot of money on things. We're starting to find out even more now. But Governor Kehoe had the initiative to get things going. So, and I think this is kind of, unfortunately, this is kind of about the last chance that I think we're going to have because the folks with the initiative positions, they figured out how to do it. They figured out with the medical marijuana, that was the first step. And every year it's gotten better to figure out where we got to canvass, where we got to get the signatures, what areas we got to get hard. They know the math now to get anything they want through. And that destroyed us as small business owners with that minimum wage hike. And, we had to live with that and the sick time for part-time hourly employees. Oh, my God. Yeah. Thank God the legislature went back and fixed that, because that would have been devastating, especially to the food service industry. So now that they know how to do that, it's just going to get worse. This
exactly
4 has got to pass on Tuesday. Maybe 5, they go back and do it again later if it doesn't pass. That'd be unfortunate for everybody, but 4 needs to go through. Otherwise, we're just going to see this Constitution. We're going to see 10 of these IPs on every election now coming up.
You nailed it. The special interests have cracked the code. They figured out the formula to put amendments in the Missouri Constitution. That's why it's almost 130 right now, and that's why we've seen so many in the last 10 years.
Yes,
multiple a year because
it's
cracked the code.
Yeah, it's 20-something in the last 15 years, and
129 total.
Yes, I think 120. Yeah, it's 127 or 129. But how many in the main Constitution the last 50 years? 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they wrote it the right way.
Exactly.
And this whole thing, one person, one vote, whatever, get rid of that. That doesn't apply to the Constitution. That applies to voting in your local representatives, your national, making that vote that goes in on national, it goes to an elector, not that person. So this doesn't go toward the Constitution. This is not what this process is supposed to do. But they did crack the code.
It should be more difficult to amend the Constitution.
It should be very difficult. I think this is I don't think it goes far enough. I think it should be 75%. The House and Senate need to agree on it, and the vote needs to be 75%, just like it is on the main Constitution, where 75% of the states have to get it through to ratify it.
The truth of the matter is that special interests have been the ones that have taken advantage of the system, and they are the ones. That's why the anti-Amendment 4 message is so strong and so prevalent and so well-funded because the special interests are so well-funded.
Exactly.
And that's why they're pounding with these ads, and that's why we're talking about this, because it's got to be a yes on 4. It needs to be a yes on 5, too, but it's got to be a yes on 4.
Yeah, otherwise it'd just get rid of whatever happens on 5. They'll change it next year. Yeah. But it's destined to be, we're destined to be like California that has 500 amendments in their Constitution. But to go back, look at how much national campaigns spend on this state. We're flyover country. Nobody cares. Yet on these bills and things like that, they spend more money to amend our Constitution in this state than they try to get a presidential or a Senate or any election in this state.
When one of these national special interests see that they can, get their agenda into a state constitution, they take advantage of it. Jonathan Heslop from Rockwood Lump Charcoal and Capriati Sandwich Shop. Great conversation as always, my friend. Look forward to talking to you again soon. If not before election night, maybe as part of our
Tuesday
election night
coverage. I'm going to bring you guys some sandwiches. I know you're going to be in here. I know Vic is going to be here. He's going to be hungry. He's going to be mad. We'll try to get him
Hopefully
taken
not.
care of.
It's
overnight.
not over yet, but I'm afraid that I feel like we are going to be mad on Tuesday night. But we'll be here covering it up to the second.
Everybody
election
needs to get out
results.
and vote on this one.
Amen. Jonathan Heslop, thanks as always for your time, my friend. We're going to continue the conversation about Tuesday's elections with Byron Keelan from the Missouri Freedom Principle Missouri, specifically one of the only organizations out there that is trying to get out the truth and the message about how important a yes on Amendment 4 is. So we're going to continue the conversation with Byron next here on Colombo and Company.
If you have a phone, you have a radio.
Wherever I'm at, home, car, wherever.
Download the all-new News Talk STL app.
If you have a phone, you have a radio. Just a convenience on the phone.
Streaming live on the mobile app.
Love the new app.
And listen anytime,
Everywhere.
anywhere.
Your trees do a lot for you. Shade, beauty, curb appeal, but are they safe? Clever Tree Service has been protecting St. Louis homes and landscapes for over 20 years. Pruning, trimming, removal, stump grinding, even 24/7 emergency storm service. Fully insured, eco-friendly, and always focused on you. From Kirkwood to Chesterfield, Webster Groves to Wildwood, your neighbors trust Clever Tree Service. Visit clevertreeservice.com for your free quote today.
When decisions matter most, experience isn't optional. As a former SWAT commander, Tim Whitney has led Under Pressure. Today, as Undersheriff and Chief Financial Officer, he helps lead hundreds of employees, manages one of the county's largest budgets, and protects taxpayers with conservative accountability.
I'm Tim Whitney, and I'd be honored to earn your vote. Together we can support responsible growth, strengthen public safety, protect taxpayers, and preserve the character that makes Jefferson County home.
Paid for by friends of Tim Whitney. Heather Missy, Treasurer.
Yo, this is Vic. Vic for Vets is proudly honoring our veterans. Every Wednesday at 11:05, you'll hear about that day's honoree and their incredible service to our country.
Hi, it's Ken. You want to nominate a veteran? Send their name, service information, and story to me, Ken, at newstalkstl.com.
Brought to you by Heroes Care, Alamo Military Collectibles, Gemini Wealth Group, Michael's Funeral Home, and Freddie's Market.
Together, let's celebrate the heroes in our community. Vic for Vets, where honor meets gratitude.
At Body of Health, we're a small but mighty family operation with big ambitions for your health. I'm Helene Tobler, and I'm jazzed about how our MRI-grade body composition analyzer is putting personalized health and wellness on steroids. It helps me and Dr. Tobler, that's my husband, refine the advice we give to help you feel better and live longer. Body of Health, trusted, discerning, affordable health care the way it ought to be. Learn more at bodyofhealth.com. That's bodyofhealth.com.
Connor Roofing, you can count on Connor. Connor Roofing is now a two-time winner of the National Best of the Best Award for customer satisfaction for roofing, storm damage restoration, siding, gutters, both residential and commercial. Please visit connorroofing.com for an estimate. And remember, you can count on Connor.
I'm Bill Eigel. I'm a no on data centers. Last year, when a new hyperscale data center was up for a vote in St. Charles City, I'm the only candidate for county executive who stood with you in opposition. Meanwhile, Steve Ellman was writing op-eds in support of data centers. In fact, he spent $400,000 of your taxpayer money to identify 6 locations just for data centers in St. Charles County. I'm Bill Eigel, and if you don't want data centers in our county, then I'm asking for your vote on August 4th.
Paid for by Eigel from Missouri. Lisa Borchers, Treasurer.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL. Tony Colombo here in studio with producer Johnny filling in for Ashlyn today. Great conversation with Jonathan Heslop, News Talk STL contributor from Rockwood Lump Charcoal and Capriati's Sandwich Shop in that last segment. Getting ready for these massively important elections. Just days away. Tuesday is election day here across the state of Missouri. We're going to be here with special election coverage Tuesday night, live from 7 to 10 p.m., bringing you election results up to the minute on all these important statewide and local races. We were just talking about specifically Amendment 5 with Jonathan in that last segment, touched on Amendment 4 as well, and I want to continue the conversation now. As I mentioned, Byron Keelan from Freedom Principle Missouri is in studio with us to talk about these elections on Tuesday. And Byron, I said it a moment ago, I want to say it again to you. Thank you. Freedom Principle is one of the only groups out there that is trying to spread the message and tell the truth about the Amendment 4 issue. I was talking about, and I've been talking about for weeks, how I'm just getting pounded with political ads that are anti-4, anti-5, and I'm like, where's the other side? Where's the other?
Where's the voice of reason?
Yeah, and Freedom Principle is one of the few out there that is doing everything that you can to try to get that message out to the folks. So thank you.
Yes, I feel like one of the apostles going out trying to convert all of the people to believe in Jesus Christ here. The issue here is that we're trying to raise awareness of this because it is such a historical election, in that we can actually stop the as Aaron Dorr said on one of his podcasts, is that the Huns are at the door and they're about to kick the door in. And what Missourians need to understand is that we are having our vote stolen from us every 2 years because we elect Republicans to the legislature, and whether or not they're conservative or moderate, the issue here is that we've elected the majority of people to the state representatives, and that vote is being thrown out because these special interest groups and these progressive groups who have the foreign billionaires, they come in and they put their citizen initiative petition on the ballot, and they bypass the legislature.
Yep.
So the voice of the people is actually being silenced with these initiative petitions. This isn't about giving the people the ability to influence their governor. This is about the ability to let the people take it over.
Yes.
And we're having tyranny here, and that's what we're seeing with these initiative petitions, and this is why we have to stop it.
Yeah, amen. And you said it there. You said it there perfectly. And I've been screaming at the top of my lungs for the last several weeks about this, about how important Amendment 4 is, and how important a yes on 4 is. And you've been in this boat too, fighting for IP reform for years. We finally get it accomplished and get it on the ballot. And to the idea of losing this battle now, especially knowing that the reason that we're losing is because the lies and about what this is are working and convincing the voters of Missouri. Why is it so hard to get the message out of, what Amendment 4 does is stop, you just said it, stop special interests from coming into Missouri, well-funded outsiders with an agenda. It stops them from being able to very simply, relatively, get an amendment on a state constitution. That's what it stops if you say yes on 4. Why is it so hard for that message to get out there?
I think that a lot of people understand our Constitution is under attack. And when I give my presentations across the state, I tell people our Constitution has been treated worse than a dog in an Anthony Fauci test lab. And so,
well said.
But the billionaires are buying their way into the Constitution. So when you look at sports betting, remember all the ads in 2024 of all the teachers talking about how much money is going to be generated for education and things of this nature. Come to find out there's no money being generated for education. Because why? Because they wrote into the Constitution that they get to deduct their marketing expenses, their lobbying expenses, their legal expenses, and all their overhead expenses. So they get to deduct everything before they even have to give one dime to education. And this is the problem with citizen initiative. But, and I don't even want to call them citizens because they're not pushed by citizens. In fact, you don't even have to be a resident of Missouri or a U.S. citizen in order to push an initiative petition in Missouri. You can file it from any state and just put a P.O. box, and that's it. And that's what's happening here is that these out-of-state special interest groups are coming in, they're creating their carve-outs, and they're getting all their tax breaks, like the realtors. The realtors, the reason why they're against Amendment 4 and 5 is because they said in a hearing in the legislature last year that they paid good money to do an initiative petition to get their carve-out. Yeah. And so Amendment 5 would actually eliminate that carve-out and start making them have to pay taxes like the mom and pop grocery store has to pay taxes. And so they want the ability to manipulate the Constitution so that they can
As
create
does
their
every
little
special interest group. Yeah, you're exactly right.
And when you look at it, over the last 23 years, we've had 313 citizen initiative petitions filed. 232 of them have been for constitutional changes. 74% of all citizen initiative petitions have been filed to amend our Constitution. That is a barrage that we can't withstand. We don't have enough resources to fight them. And when you look at it, the Democrats and the special interest, they've submitted 180 of those, and 23 of them have made it to the ballot, and 14 have been passed by the voters. So they have a 60% success rate.
Mm-hmm.
The Republicans, on the other hand, have tried 54 times. 0 have made it to the ballot. So not even a chance to be voted on. And when you think about the Republican amendments that have been tried, we've tried to ban abortion 3 times. We tried personhood 2 times. We tried to pass universal school choice, hand counting, photo IDs, paper ballots. These are things that the legislature has done. So we need to make sure we have a Republican legislature. But the issue here is that, we're a republic, and our founding fathers feared mob rule, and we have mob rule in Missouri right now. When you think of that, in 2024. The abortion issue was passed in 8 of 115 counties. 12% of the population said that we have to allow transgender surgeries on minors, that we get to remove parental consent for minors, that we get to remove all health and safety standards, and that we get to kill babies up to the time that they're born.
12%.
And yes, and so why, particularly for those that are pro-life people, need to understand to go vote for Amendment 4 is that if Amendment 3 passes and Amendment 4 doesn't, we will be right back in this same situation in 2028, and it'll be a presidential election with a governor's election, and we're not going to have the kind of money. We didn't have the money in 2024, so we're not going to have the money in 2028 to fight back on that again. So we've got to pass Amendment 4 so that we can stop all this bad stuff from coming into our Constitution.
You nailed it. And I mentioned earlier, that especially over the last 10 or 15 years, and you just highlighted it there with those numbers, the progressive special interests have figured out the formula. They have figured out the formula, and they have put it in overdrive. And we have seen, multiple amendments year after year now getting into the Missouri Constitution, and it's only going to get worse if Amendment 4 doesn't pass on Tuesday. And you also did a great job of pointing out, especially with that Amendment 3 analogy, this anti-4, they want to make it all about, the majority of, in your vote counts. 12%. They have figured out the formula to the point where they put these on, off-season years, not in the general election many times. They know exactly how to mobilize a small minority of voters on a particular ballot to get their agenda across the finish line. It has nothing to do with accurately representing Missouri voters and what they think, which is what they try to tell you in the ads. Byron, we're almost out of time here, but these conversations are so important, and this information is so important. We're going to continue to talk about it, obviously, all the way up through Election Day. Hope to talk to you again sometime very soon. But also, in the meantime, where can people get more of this information, more of these details? Follow Freedom Principle.
Yeah, they can go to freedomprinciplemo.org. We have the big Yes on 4 logo, and if you click on that, you can see we have 2 or 3 videos out about the impact of Amendment 4 and what it does with making sure that all 8 congressional districts get a simple majority before anything goes into our Constitution. And just to reiterate real quick,
go ahead.
This is what we need, all 8, because when you think about it, if think about outstate Missouri, if there was a proposed merger for St. Louis County and St. Louis City on the ballot, they would say, let's stick it to St. Louis County and St. Louis City because they deserve what they get. Well, that's the reason why we have to have the 8-0 majority in all congressional districts, is because we need to have the ability to protect the one county or one area that could be impacted on this. And when you think about Jackson County's population equals that of 59 Missouri counties. The population of St. Louis City equals that of 36 counties across Missouri. So the fact is that we're giving them that much power. Yeah. That's like having New York and Chicago and Los Angeles pick our president of the United States. Yeah. And so we have...
Which the idiots that want to get rid of the electoral constitution.
Exactly. Which was an initiative petition this year to do.
Crazy.
They wanted to eliminate the electoral college and go with the popular vote to give our delegates. And so this is the kind of stuff that is coming down the pipe here. And they're going to be coming after guns. You already see in Oregon, they're trying to ban hunting and fishing.
Yeah.
And so good luck, on that one. But the issue here is that, again, St. Louis City, Kansas City can vote on this. They can do whatever they want. And so this is about protecting our rights. This is about protecting our state. And it's about protecting our freedoms. Because if we don't pass this, the Democratic social agenda is coming in November. And if we don't stop it, they want to dissolve the legislature in November. There's actually a petition that's going to be coming that would basically dissolve the legislature because it would make him almost virtually useless to pass anything.
Yeah, and it'll be wave after wave.
Yes.
Every year. It'll be this November. It'll be again next year. It'll be in 2028. It'll just be wave after wave of these constitutional amendment attempts by the progressive left, and we're going to be on the defensive fighting, and unfortunately, because they have figured out the formula, probably losing a lot of those fights if we don't stop it right now and vote yes.
Yeah, and when you look at Protect Majority Vote Missouri, who's running ads, I think even on this station, they accepted $500,000 from the open source fund, which is George Soros's fund, and they got $1 million+ from a fairness group out of Washington, D.C., who had at least $1.25 million from the 1630 fund, which is funded by a Swiss billionaire, and $5 million from a global impact fund that funds climate change and all these other types of goofy nonsense programs.
That's where all that
That's
money's
all that,
coming from.
and these are the realtor. These are groups that are aligned with the realtors. So, if we by the grace of God pull this out on Tuesday, this will be the election that will send shockwaves throughout Missouri history for time to come
and protect us.
Yes,
or possibly destroy us in the long run.
And that's I just appreciate the fact that we're getting a lot of opportunities to talk about this, and so I really appreciate you guys.
I think it's massively important, and having these long conversations where we can get into the details, explain the situation, is what you don't get from political ads, and why it's so important. Byron Keelan from Freedom Principle, Missouri. Great to see you. Great talking with you. Hope to talk to you again really soon.
Yes, look forward to it. Anytime.
Have a great rest of your day.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to continue the conversation. We'll get back into some of the issues on the Tuesday ballot as we go through the afternoon, but we're going to talk about some of the national issues of the day. What's happening with Iran? What is the latest on the Anthony Fauci fallout? I want to get into some of those stories and more as we continue the conversation with Virginia Kruta from the Daily Wire. She joins us next.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
Netanyahu and Zelensky visited with President Trump at the White House. What do we take from that? We'll ask Steve Bucci all of those questions and more at 4:20.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
The radical left let crime and drugs pour into our nation, and they let biological men into girls' sports. But here in Missouri, if there's a problem, we fix it. That's why Ann Wagner's fixing the mess the radical left made and delivering for us. Wagner voted to ban biological men from competing in girls' sports, and she voted to fund the police and provide more resources for Border Patrol agents, keeping our families, communities, and children safe. And Ann Wagner didn't stop there. In Congress, Wagner passed the largest working-class tax cut in American history, kept big government out of our business, protected our way of life, and ensured our communities remain safe. That's why Ann Wagner's endorsed by the Missouri Farm Bureau and Missouri Fraternal Order of Police. Vote Ann Wagner for Congress on August 4th.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
Hey, it's Vic Porcelli. We're sitting here with our great friend, Chris Cooper. Hi, Chris.
What's going on, Vic? How are you?
I hear you wrote another book. This one's an e-book. Is that right?
The Business Owner's Playbook for Financial Clarity. So it is a great book for entrepreneurs. It's a very short guide. Give people, business owners, the ability to understand key questions that are important, such as succession planning, legacy planning, getting the IRS out of our pockets, right? Because do you like paying taxes?
I do not.
I don't think anybody likes paying taxes, right? That just makes sense. And then always talking about protection. And then the other thing from a business owner perspective, what is the biggest asset a business owner has? Probably their business itself, right? We need to make sure we understand what the value of that business is as well.
So this new book, I'm sure, is incredibly expensive, right? How much?
No, it's a free resource.
Oh, it's free.
We provide guidance, we provide education because we want to make sure people feel educated and understanding because sometimes you don't know what questions to ask, and we need to make sure we help arm people with information to ask the right question.
Reach out to Chris and Stacy today at SerenityWealthNow.com.
Investment advice offered through Fortis Capital Advisors, LLC.
Dude, this house is perfect. Crumbs everywhere, sticky counters. I've already texted the colonies.
Sweet, I'll bring my 500 cousins. This'll be the biggest ant rager of the summer.
Let's party! Wait, oh, what's that sound? Oh, no, it's those trucks with the green wheels. Party's over, man. Party's over.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. We'd love to help you out. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888 to learn more about our special $67 offer.
If a pest-free home is your goal, call All Solutions Pest Control.
State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered, Sunday nights at 7 on News Talk STL. Hear all the behind-the-scenes stories about what the State Freedom Caucus is doing across the country, directly from the legislators and the people that are doing it. State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered, this Sunday night at 7 with your host, Tim Jones. State Freedom Caucus Unfiltered, now Sunday nights at 7 on News Talk STL.
Summer's here, and so is the freshest produce in town. At Anthony's Produce, we specialize in locally grown fruits and vegetables, straight from the farm to your table. Homegrown tomatoes, sweet corn, juicy cantaloupe, watermelon, and peaches, just to name a few. Plus, thousands of locally made products you won't find anywhere else. Need a fruit or vegetable tray for your next gathering? We've got you covered. Anthony's Produce on Jungerman Road or at anthonysproduce.com. Open 7 days a week.
This hour of Colombo and Company brought to you by Gutter Pros. Water goes where we tell it. Call 314-656-7195 or visit them at gutterpros.com.
He's going the distance. He's going for speed. She's all alone in a time of need. Because he's racing and pacing and plotting the course. He's fighting and biting and riding on his horse.
The distance. Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Really good conversations in the first two segments of the show here today with Jonathan Heslop from Rockwood Lump Charcoal and Capriati Sandwich Shop, local business owner who's really, politically engaged, getting his thoughts and perspectives on these upcoming elections. Just also talked to Byron Keelan from Freedom Principle, Missouri. A lot of focus on Amendments 4 and 5 in those conversations. Massively important stuff. All of this is going to be on the ballot in just a few days on Tuesday night. It's election night here across the state of Missouri, and we are going to bring you special election coverage that evening. We're going to be live here in studio from 7 to 10 p.m. with up to the minute, up to the second election results with all the information. We'll be checking in with various candidates that are involved in the races, various, folks that are involved in Missouri politics to give you all of the results and all of the details of what decisions were made by Missouri voters this coming Tuesday. So join us for that special election coverage from 7 to 10 p.m. Tuesday night. Big thanks to Freddie's Market, Gemini Wealth Group, Fast Signs of Bridgeton, and 21 Recycling in Imperial. Great sponsors of our election coverage. Helps make that possible. All right. As I mentioned, there's a lot of, outside these local issues in the Missouri election, there's a lot going on with Iran, with Fauci, with so many things. And here to help us talk about these issues is Virginia Kruta from the Daily Wire. Virginia, how are you, my friend?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. I spent the morning watching the USA Swim Nationals, so I might not be up to date on some of this.
That's all right. You know what?
I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, no, I love it. Well, I wanted to start with Anthony Fauci, and I know you saw that yesterday.
Yes.
111. The first reports it was like 71 or 77, and then it was all the way up to 111. 111 times.
Well, the first reports came out when they went to their lunch break.
Well, there you go. Makes sense. 111 times he pleads the fifth. It was an absolute circus. We were all, I knew that there would be, I knew he would be the Artful Dodger. You know, I knew he was going to do everything he could to not answer the questions, but I wasn't prepared for the obstruction level that he went to. What do you make of Fauci's performance yesterday?
Well, here's the thing. Fauci is not an idiot. As much as malicious as a lot of the stuff that we can see now, as malicious as it must have been on some level, whether it was him or the people pulling his strings or paying him to say things, I don't know. But here's what I would take away from that, because if you're familiar with court proceedings and you understand how pardons work and how the rest of all this works. First off, the pardon from Joe Biden is not ironclad. If someone raises the question about the policies that he made and people that he advocated for that were then implemented, and then they prove harm or they file a suit, then it raises the question whether or not the pardon is valid. And then if they challenge whether or not the pardon is valid, then they get to bring in the auto pen and all the rest. So Fauci knows that one of two things will happen if he answers even one question, and I mean down to what color is your tie, sir?
Josh Hawley asked him what color is the carpet. I mean, he literally it literally got to that level yesterday.
Well, Bernie Moreno asked him, because he asked him a question, do you know who David Schertler is? And then he says, when Fauci takes the fifth, he says, what is, what's in the Fifth Amendment? Fauci couldn't answer that either. Like, he pled the Fifth Amendment to avoid explaining what the Fifth Amendment protects. That's how ridiculous this was.
Oh, man.
And the best part is that David Schertler is his criminal defense attorney.
It's his attorney, yeah.
who was booted from the proceedings because he was testifying. And Rand Paul is like, no, in no court on this earth is the defendant allowed to take the fifth and then his lawyer testify for him. You can't do that. And so they kicked the guy out. But the reason David Schertler is important is that he represented another congressional heavyweight. You might remember him. His name is Menendez. He's no longer in Congress because he took gold bars from the Egyptians.
Yep.
Right. And so Schertler, according to
he was
Moreno,
sewing them on the
that
inside of his
call.
sports jackets. Remember, he was in his clothes.
Schertler. It's important to note that Schertler is the guy that you call when you're in deep crap. We'll just say, because I don't want to get you beeped.
Thank you.
But that's not what Bernie Moreno said in Congress.
Yeah.
So
that's
anyway,
the level
and then
of
he turns to
circus
Fauci and he says, "Do you believe you're in deep crap, sir?" Like, this may be it. But so Fauci can't answer any questions, because if he does, it opens him up to challenges to his pardon. And if that pardon is challenged, Fauci knows that he and his money are going to be tied up in court for the rest of his life. That said, he also can't answer questions, because even if that pardon holds, it is only applicable to federal crimes, which means that if he says anything that opens him up to prosecution on a state level from a state prosecutor who says, well, my governor was listening to you and this is what happened to our schools and our children, et cetera, there are enough red states to tie Fauci up in court and take all his money, basically, until he dies. And he knows that. So like I said, Fauci's not an idiot, and he is doing his level best to make sure that he can't be touched. And the only way to do that is to fall on his sword, like his reputational sword, because whatever else happened, we can't get any of the stuff back. We can't get any of the people back. But Fauci, if you read any of the diaries, his favorite thing is in the world is him. His reputation, his media empire, or whatever you want to call it. And the last thing anyone's going to remember about him is that he sat in Congress with a smug look on his face and wouldn't answer any questions.
Yeah. Unfortunately, he'll still be a hero, though, to many people on his side, even with this performance. Virginia, we only have a few minutes left. I wanted to ask
Tony,
you this.
there are two kinds of people. There are two kinds of people in this country right now when it comes to Fauci. There are the people who are suffering from PTSD right now because they knew all this stuff when it was happening, and they screamed to high heaven and got told they were killing their grandparents and they wanted people to die, right? They got fired, they got canceled, they got all of these things happened to them because they told the truth then, right? And they're like, and you still can't see it. And the other kind of person is the useful idiot who believed it when it happened and now cannot admit it because it is a whole lot easier to sell the lie than it is to convince them they were lied to.
So only a few minutes left here with Virginia Kruger from the Daily Wire. I want to ask you, is he going to get away with it? Do you think this strategy is going to work? We've seen Rand Paul and others say that they are going to try to charge Fauci with obstruction of Congress, to try to hold him accountable for something. Is he going to get away with this, or is there a way to get him with something at the end of this?
Let me just say, Eric Holder was the first sitting attorney general to be held in contempt of Congress, and he is about a week away from hosting a fundraiser in Martha's Vineyard, along with Barack Obama, where they're raising money to gerrymander more Democratic states. Like, literally, that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
It's a gerrymandering fundraiser is what they're doing. And he's in charge of the PAC that does this. So
no.
Will they hold Fauci in contempt of Congress? Maybe, but will it matter? No.
That's incredible. And part of the deep, deep frustration of all of this, as everybody was preparing for him to finally have to answer these questions and then to watch this madness unfold. Hey, real quick, can you tell us about John Fetterman and the quote, "I love killing Hamas leadership"? Okay,
so John Fetterman
2
is
minutes,
walking down
Virginia,
the halls
2
of
minutes, go.
Congress. He's walking down the halls of Congress, like you do.
Yeah.
And he gets approached by a reporter who says, "Can I ask you a question?" He says, "Who are you with?" And they're like, "Drop Site News." And he's like, "Oh, Drop Site News. You're the pro-Hamas guys, right?" And he says, "I got to tell you, and the guy keeps trying to ask him questions, and he's filibustering the whole time. He's like, "Look, I just want to tell your entire audience how much I love it when Israel kills Hamas leadership. It's great. I mean, I know they don't like it because we don't know who funds them and whatnot, but and I'm paraphrasing here.
Yeah.
But the best part of the entire thing, as he's walking away from this guy, he's stepping onto the elevator, and with all the dramatic timing of Robert Duvall saying, "I love the smell of napalm in the morning," he's like, "I love killing Hamas leadership," and the elevator door closes. It's phenomenal.
Who
It's
knew?
Probably the best unplanned video in the history of history of media
with this guy.
And the best part is that the freaking Drop Site News guy is the one who posted it. I'm like, do you understand that you just made yourself look like the biggest clown in media? Like, you made Fetterman look way better than he could ever make himself look.
And who knew that John Fetterman would give us so much entertainment, and I'd find myself in agreement with him so many times. Not the majority of the time or anything like that, but way more than I thought would happen.
And I will say this, though, that the every time he opens his mouth, I like him a little bit better.
Yeah, that's a great point.
But I don't think, like, it's important to remember that at the end of the day, he dances with the one who brought him.
Yeah.
I mean, he he really does vote hard left a lot.
Great stuff. Virginia Kruder from the Daily Wire. Check out those articles at thedailywire.com. Unfortunately, Virginia, we got to go. Thank you so much for your time, as always. Look forward to talking to you again soon. Have a great rest of your day.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Check out that story about Fetterman and more, dailywire.com. All right, we're going to continue the conversation with Dr. Randy Tobler next.
Yup, sure am.
So you know the old-timers warned that someone trying to sell you a pig in a poke was a con man.
Well, sure.
Well, no offense, Tom, but your politician's Amendment 5 is a pig in a poke, allowing politicians to raise our taxes without a vote of the people, and the politician's Amendment 4 takes away our power to do anything about it. Well, let's look at what's really inside Ford 5.
Oh, don't do that.
5 hits hardest seniors and those struggling financially with new taxes on services like doctor visits, in-home care, and rent. Sales taxes could more than triple. For up to 80% of Missourians, it's a tax hike. And Amendment 4 ends majority rule, allowing a minority of the most liberal statewide voters in one district to effectively end our power to stop corruption and out-of-control spending and taxing.
Slick plan, huh?
No, Tom. 4 and 5 are schemes that hurt citizens and transfer our power and our money to politicians and lobbyists. That's why I'm voting no on the politicians' Amendments 4 and 5, paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness One. Wellness One is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on Newstalk STL. And you can visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
Travis Wilson here, State Representative from District 106 in St. Charles, Missouri's first state capital. I wanted to remind everyone that we have a crucial primary election coming up on Tuesday, August 4th. No excuse, in-person voting has already begun, and I'd appreciate your vote to continue my service for the great people of St. Charles. For more information on early voting or to learn more about me and the important issues facing Missouri, visit me on Facebook at Wilson for St. Charles. Thank you, and may God continue to bless the state of Missouri.
Paid for by Wilson for St. Charles. Merle Schneider, Treasurer.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. The White House is encouraging veterans who drove large military vehicles to consider a career in trucking. At the White House, the president talked about the way he's been tightening rules against illegals behind the wheel, a trend he says has put American truck drivers out of work and made the roads less safe.
Many of these illegal aliens don't even come close. They don't want to learn the language. They don't care about the language, and they don't speak it. They don't speak English. They cannot read basic road signs. In many cases, they've engaged in reckless driving that has caused many, many preventable deaths, too many to even talk about.
And the president says attracting more veterans to trucking will help replace some of those illegal immigrant drivers who lost their commercial licenses during the crackdown over the past year. The president's selection to head up the Labor Department one step closer to confirmation now after he was advanced in committee today. Here is correspondent Laura Winters on the nomination of Acting Secretary Keith Sonderling.
The panel voting 12 to 11 along party lines in favor of the president's pick, Keith Sonderling. He's been in charge of the Labor Department on an interim basis since the last Labor Secretary stepped down. Sonderling also worked at the Department of Labor during President Trump's first term in office.
The U.S. economy showed clear signs of resilience in the second quarter, even as overall growth slowed.
The Commerce Department reported that gross domestic product expanded at a 1.5% annual pace from April through June, a deceleration from the 2.1% rate in the first quarter of 2026. The figure also came in below what many economists expected. Imports were a major drag on growth, reflecting heavier demand for goods sourced from abroad. Yet the core driver behind the economy's continued momentum was consumer spending. Americans increased spending at a 3.2% annual clip, rising sharply from the just 0.5% earlier in the year. Bernie Bennett, Washington.
And more of these stories at Town Hall.
Do you owe back taxes or have unfiled tax returns? The IRS won't quit until they get your money. Here's great news, fresh from those in the know. Major changes have happened at the IRS. If you owe more than $10,000, you may be eligible for a 99% reduction of what you owe. Haven't filed a return for a while? Their happy clients are talking.
The IRS was going to levy my bank account, but Guardian was able to prevent that and fix all my IRS issues. Thanks again, Guardian Tax.
Need relief from crushing tax debt? The IRS now has special programs. Guardian Tax knows all about them. Personal or business, this is the fresh new break you've been hoping for.
We aren't the company you call when you need a hug because you're scared of the IRS. Guardian Tax is the company that wins when you need it most.
Guardian Tax Service is really great to work with. They really help me out. I'd recommend them highly.
Call now for a free confidential consultation. 800-505-2906. 800-505-2906. 800-505-2906.
From the News Talk STL Weather Center.
I'm First Alert 4 Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton. We have a First Alert weather day for Friday. It's going to be the late afternoon and evening. We'll be on guard for a severe storm, but we do have a chance of rain and some thunder before that. So morning to afternoon, some scattered showers, a low of 70, a high of 83 for Friday, and then we'll watch for that chance of a severe storm, especially in the evening hours for the St. Louis Metro. Then Saturday, scattered showers, a cool day, a high of 78 degrees. That's a cool start to our August. That's the latest from the First Alert 4 Weather Center. I'm Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Business owners, download your free playbook for financial clarity at serenitywealthbiz.com. That's serenitywealthbiz.com. This is what's happening.
We attacked Cargo Island last night.
And Iran retaliated. They struck targets in Kuwait and Bahrain.
They'll agree on everything, and then they'll go and have a news conference and say we never even talked about it.
101.9 and 94.1.
Number one for conservative talk.
News Talk STL.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Jam-packed 2 o'clock hour there. I'm Tony Colombo, by the way, in studio here with producer Johnny, who's filling in for Ashlyn this afternoon. If you missed any of the conversations in that 2 o'clock hour, we just talked to Virginia Kruta from the Daily Wire. We also talked to Byron Keelan from Freedom Principle, Missouri, about the upcoming primary elections on Tuesday, which are massively important. We're going to be live here on Tuesday night with special election coverage to keep you up to speed on election results as they come in. And we also talked to News Talk STL contributor, the owner of Rockwood Lump Charcoal and Capriati's Sandwich Shop, Jonathan Heslop, in the 2 o'clock hour. Focused that conversation on the Tuesday elections as well. Great conversations about both Amendments 4 and 5 in that 2 o'clock hour, which are so important, two of the biggest issues on the ballot on Tuesday. So if you missed any of that, or you just want to make sure you never miss anything that happens here on the show, subscribe to our podcast. We put this show out as a podcast right after we get off the air every day. We put it on basically every podcast platform. So wherever you like to get podcasts on that platform, just subscribe to Colombo and Company, and you'll never miss anything that happens here on the show. In a few minutes, we are going to be joined live in studio by my co-host from the Bluff City Outdoor Show, which you can hear every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. here on News Talk STL. And speaking of Saturday mornings and the great programming here on News Talk STL, on the line with us right now is Dr. Randy Tobler, host of the Randy Tobler Show, 6 to 9 a.m. every Saturday. And Doc, I started the show saying that you don't even know where to start on a week like this. So much happening nationally, so much happening locally. As always, really appreciate your time as we try to unpack all of it. How are you, Doc? We're having some phone problems. Yeah, you bet.
He says he's on.
Okay, all right. Try calling him back. He can call us too, of course, if there's if for some reason things aren't working. But we're trying to get Dr. Tobler on the line, live radio there for you, baby. One of the things that I want to talk to Tobler about, I want to continue the conversation that we were having with Virginia Kruta in that last segment about Dr. Anthony Fauci and, what's next after this circus of a performance in front of the United States Senate yesterday with 111 times where he pled the fifth. Is this it? Is this the end of the line for Anthony Fauci? Is there going to be any consequences of this behavior and obstruction? Is there any next step? So I want to talk about that. Also, the latest coming out of Iran. And I think we have Doc on the line now. Tobler, are you there?
I'm good. I could hear you, but you couldn't hear me. I don't know. Maybe Dr. Fauci had it jammed.
They're trying to silence us, baby.
Yeah.
There's too much on the line.
Could have been. Yeah, well, we can be dangerous. You never know.
Yeah. So we talked about the Fauci circus with Virginia Kruta a minute ago, but I'd like to get your thoughts on that situation, and also not only your thoughts on the performance, but the same question that I asked Virginia: is he going to get away with it? Is there going to be? Is he going to be held accountable for his lies and actions, or is this legal strategy of pleading the fifth combined with the pardon from Biden going to be enough to protect him?
Well, I think it really falls into a larger category. It's another example of a larger category, and that's just in general. I think so many Americans are disappointed. I know I am in the general lack of accountability and justice, real justice, not social justice, real justice, whether it is illegal aliens allowed to come across the border, pilfer our social welfare system, and worse, and, rape and kill our women, children, and men. Or in this case, I mean, the justice system just doesn't seem to serve us when it's so just
obvious,
crystal clear to everyday Americans that some accountability here, especially when the guy was paid like he was. Holy cow. It's so sad, and I'm hoping that there's an angle. I don't know whether it's maybe the pardon doesn't stick because it was an auto pen pardon. Is that an angle?
Yeah.
Maybe is it contemptuous because he had a pardon and you can't take the fifth, according to what Josh Hawley says, if you've got a pardon.
Yeah.
But then others say, well, but that pardon didn't go forward and cover future perjury.
Or contempt of Congress, which is, what Rand Paul is trying to.
I don't know. It's just, it's maddening. And that it should be so difficult to get things right is, I think, it's just everything's become so complicated, Tony, whether it's getting convicted, people in jail that need to be in jail, or whether it's keeping people out of our borders or whatever. I mean, and every small businessman knows about how, boy, all you have to do if you're adding on a little, you're changing a room inside your business, and if you don't attend to code, they shut you down. Why is it that the little guy is brought to account, but not the big boys?
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
a big problem.
No, you're exactly right. And unfortunately, I can't. And Virginia kind of said the same thing. That I don't have any optimism that Anthony Fauci is going to pay for any of his lies or his behaviors, because that's just what we've grown to expect. You know who's paying for it, though, Tony? You know who's paying for all that? You and me? Not only the children who didn't get the education, but patients who now think, and I understand the sentiment, but they've pretty much thrown out the baby with the bathwater when they get advice from any medical professional. There are patients like that out there. And the medical profession itself has been disgraced by his behavior because, after all, I am science, don't you know? You know what I mean? It's science. And so we all try to fight this battle of trying to regain the trust that is necessary in a healthy, medical encounter between docs and patients. And it's just sad. It's just really sad. But we've seen it across most of our major institutions, right? Whether it's higher education, well, for that matter, all education, or the Justice Department, or on and on and on. It's sad. Yeah. And how about when you just look back at the names? Just think of these names: Fauci, the Bidens, Pelosi's, the Clintons, James Comey. None of these people. John Brennan. None of these people have been hit with the charge. None of these people have paid for any of the things that they have done. So why would we have confidence that would start now? Quick little side story here, Doc, just to Got across the streams here. Two stories that are now connected. The very publicized Senate race in Texas with James Tallarico and Ken Paxton. Today, over the last 24 hours, many people on social media have gone back in time and are now roasting James Tallarico for a post that he made on Christmas Day of 2021, where he posted, Tallarico posted on Christmas Day of 2021, quote, "I got the coolest action figure for Christmas. Thank you to all the healthcare superheroes working today. Let's help by getting vaxxed and boosted." And then the toy, the present, the action figure that he's showing off in that tweet is a Anthony Fauci doll. Anthony Fauci.
Well, isn't that rich? Oh my!
It was the coolest thing he got for Christmas in 2021 was an Anthony Fauci action figure. There's so many great responses to this on social media. The one that I pulled out was Ted Cruz, who said James Tallarico called Fauci a superhero. Today, Fauci took the fifth 111 times. Apparently, accountability was sold separately. He also posted a little bit later, if you push the lever, it pleads the fifth.
That's fun. That is hilarious. Well, I mean, Tallarico's the guy that believes in how many different genders, so I guess he figures a guy like Fauci has how many lives, as many as a cat, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's fun. I'll be darned.
Talking to Dr. Randy Tobler. The Randy Tobler Show is every Saturday morning, 6 to 9 a.m. here on News Talk STL. I wanted to talk about this a little bit because this is a story that I haven't seen discussed too much with everything else going on, but unfortunately, I think it shines a light on some of the division and issues within the Republican Party that could have a major impact on unity when it comes to the midterm elections. President Trump today is taking what is being reported as a hardball tactic against Republican rebels, in quotes, demanding concessions for their vote to confirm Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche. After Blanche's confirmation hearing was postponed late last night, Trump took to Truth Social this morning to attack two key holdouts on the Senate Judiciary Committee, standing in the way of his of Blanche's nomination, and those two are Senator John Cornyn. Speaking of Texas, that's all coming together. It's all just, all one big pile. Speaking of the Texas Senate situation, Senator John Cornyn and Tom Tillis, Republican in North Carolina, Trump threatened to withdraw Blanche's nomination until both of these guys are out of office, which is next year. We know that Cornyn is out because Ken Paxton won that nomination, and Tillis is stepping down. So today, the president posted on social media, quote, "Todd Blanche is a star all caps, and everyone knows it. He has the potential to go down as one of the greatest attorney generals of all time. However, John Cornyn of Texas and Tom Tillis of North Carolina, both of whom I refused to endorse," and for some reason the word endorse is capitalized, "and whose political careers have been ended by my action, are refusing to vote for this great nominee, both capitalized, who will remain in any event as acting. Remember, both Cornyn and Tillis voted for Merrick Garland and others too numerous to mention. I have no objection to temporarily." You get it. So he's, as a form of protest, he's saying, well, you know what? I'll just wait till you guys are gone, and then I'll put him up for confirmation. However, Doc, that is also a dangerous approach because if the Republicans lose the majority in November, then Blanche is going to have all kinds of issues there. So that's one part of this, but the other part, as I mentioned, it just shines a light on some of the internal problems in the Republican Party. How worried about the unity of the party are you as we get closer and closer to the midterms?
Well, that's a little bit of a scuffle in the Republican Party. Compared to the dumpster fire
sure.
going on the
No
Democratic
doubt.
side,
No
it's
doubt
nothing.
about it.
But you're right. Strategically and timing-wise, this is a big deal, right? Because Blanche has really straightened up a lot of the, I think, just some of the chaos that, at least the apparent chaos that was going on in the Bondi, era. And I think he's done a great job already, really tightening things up. My concern is, and again, I haven't a chance to look into this because I just heard about some of the details this morning on why Cornyn and Tillis are worried about things, and that's because I think it's a credible concern. I don't like the looks of Donald Trump and his family being given IRS immunity as part of the deal to bail out, people that were supposedly weaponized against.
Yeah.
I don't know. Do you know anyone that can give you immunity from an IRS thing, Tony? I mean, you're a pretty powerful guy. You got a great radio
Yeah,
show.
right. Not as powerful as you.
You've got a great family, and you're a beautiful cat. How come you can't get IRS immunity? Not that you need it, but I mean, that doesn't have a good look.
Yeah.
And why is that part of the deal? And they were given some verbal assurance that would come out, but they want written assurance. And I don't know that that's too much to ask. I know that sounds a little counterintuitive, but I don't know what Trump's worried about. If that's what they need is a written document that says we're not going to, because that's what I heard,
I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you brought that up, Doc, because that is the center of the opposition is to that, to the forming of that committee and of the fund or the people that were targeted by. They want that. Well, according to these reports, they want that whole thing taken out. But obviously, the personal Trump connection is probably more.
Well, that's what I heard. But I heard, I don't know this morning. I think it was Fox News that said their real thing about that is as part of that deal is Trump immunity. And I just because allegedly it was that. Well, look, I think the IRS is weaponized against every single American, whether they're someone serving hamburgers at the diner or whether they're the president of the United States. It's a weaponized agency. That's what they do. They take what you make from you to give to other people. So in a way, they're weaponized. I mean, I don't know. I've not had an audit so far. It'll happen, I'm sure, sometime. But I know people have had. And it's like you're guilty until proven innocent. So, I mean, it's a weaponized agency. Well, sorry, Donald, it's your turn, buddy. I mean, I don't want Trump having immunity from that. He's not really being, as far as I know, targeted than anyone else in the country. We're all targeted. So maybe we all get immunity from IRS audits. Then I'll go for the deal. Again, maybe I'm wrong here, and I think they are butthurt, and they're using something that, unfortunately, is a highly principled stance, in my opinion. The president should probably have to face IRS scrutiny. I mean, why shouldn't it? We all have to face IRS scrutiny. That's my opinion.
Dr. Randy Tobler, one last question, Doc. Speaking of election momentum, how are you feeling about voter turnout this coming Tuesday across the state of Missouri? We talked a lot about these issues. Yeah, are you feeling like people are
huge?
You feel like the message has gotten out that this is a midterm primary election, which unfortunately is something that people don't typically show up for, but it's massively important, this election on Tuesday. You feel like that momentum and that message is getting out?
Yeah, I think people are going to vote. I fear that both initiatives are going to fail because it's a populist time. And in populist times, people often leave their left brains aside and they think with their right brains. That's the emotional side. And I think that a lot of emotions are driving this. The argument against making it more difficult to amend the Constitution, Amendment A4. Oh, the people should have a say. It's the people vote. It's sort of that populist 50% plus one should win the day, rather than the more reasonable and proper approach, I believe, to let every Missourian have a vote, even those who live in the hinterlands. It's sort of the analogy of senators, in a small state. Well, at least a small state in the Senate has equal representation. Good. That's sort of an American principle, right? It's not just in the centers of population, St. Louis, Kansas City, Columbia, Springfield. But people are thinking emotionally. And if they hear the word, they're taking away the people's vote, the people's vote. Man, in a populist era, you could say the people think that cow flop wrapped in gold foil it tastes like chocolate, and they, oh, that's great. That's what the people think. It just doesn't make sense.
No.
But and the other is philosophically why people are okay with an income tax, again, taxing their hard-earned blood, sweat, and tears, and being punished for working hard. Why anyone is okay with that philosophically? Forget about every other argument. Yeah. That is number 1, 2, 3 for me to vote for Amendment 5.
Amen.
But again, the people are going to say, well, they're just going to tax the hell out of us. Well, there's actually guardrails there. I talked to the governor on our program, and it was like, there's guardrails. They can't take any more than the revenue they would have had and take it into a sales tax mode. So it's not like this is a blank check for the legislature. It's a check with a different bank. That's all it is.
You are exactly right, and I wish that the message, and I think you're right. I think the populist movement is a big part of this. I also just think that the other side, especially when it comes to Amendment 4, which has been abused by special interests, and who's got all the money, special interests, they have dominated the narrative. They've dominated the conversation with their message, and unfortunately, the truth and the other side, and what you and I have just talked about, and what we talked a lot about in the 2 o'clock hour, the information and the reality of the situation just has not been represented. But that's why we are going to continue to talk about it.
And the money is on the the no side on both of those issues. That's where the money's poured in.
And that's a problem in both of those cases, especially Amendment 4. We have to vote yes on 4, in my humble opinion. Dr. Randy Tobler, really appreciate your time as always, my friend. Look forward to talking to you again very, very soon. Have a great rest of your day. Thanks, Doctor.
Hey, you too. Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, great stuff there, Dr. Randy Tobler. The Randy Tobler Show every Saturday morning, 6 to 9 a.m. here on News Talk STL. And speaking of great programming on Saturday mornings here on News Talk STL, my co-hosts from the Bluff City Outdoors Show, which you can hear every Saturday at 11 a.m. right here. Join me next in studio. You're listening to Colombo and Company on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Rumble at News Talk STL.
This is so stupid.
St. Louis's.
Okay, I'm hanging up on you now.
Place to talk. News Talk STL.
Fox News commentary with Jimmy Fallon next.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Here's Jimmy Fallon.
The Democrats forced Joe Biden off the 2024 presidential ticket because he glitched out on the debate stage, and people realized not only did his elevator not go all the way to the top floor, I don't know if he knew where the floors were. Okay, the point is, in every one of these instances, Biden's forced off the ticket. If you're mentally incapacitated and you cannot run a presidential race, how in the world could they justify that he was able to finish his term? If you say you're mentally unfit to campaign, in what world are you fit to be the commander-in-chief of our armed forces and have access to the military codes? And the answer is there's no world where that's okay.
For more commentary like this, go to foxnewspodcast.com.
Every summer, homeowners make plans: a new grill, a backyard project, a family vacation. But what about the upgrades you could enjoy every single day? Your windows drafty, difficult to open? Your patio entry door has seen better days? Now's the time to make a change. Renewal by Anderson makes replacing windows and doors simple. Beautifully crafted products, professional installation. And right now, save big. Get $1,000 off your patio or entry door and take $400 off each replacement window. Call 877-WINDOWS or visit renewalbyanderson.com. 877-WINDOWS or visit renewalbyanderson.com. Renewal by Anderson. Superior products, exceptional service.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Trisha Burns never answers the call. Trisha Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Trisha Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Trisha Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Trisha Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Trisha Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job.
Let's Go Brandon PAC paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Chris Foss, Treasurer.
License number GL250000615.
You're cooking dinner. The lights go out. You flip the breaker and forget about it.
But what if it keeps tripping?
Trips once, your breaker's doing its job. Keeps tripping? That's a warning. Bad wiring or something worse.
Do people just keep flipping it?
Most do, until they can't anymore.
Call Grasser. We'll stop the trip.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Life's legal challenges deserve experienced representation. For over 15 years, Cole Combs Attorney at Law has been serving St. Charles and surrounding counties with comprehensive legal expertise. From tax preparation and estate planning to family law and criminal defense, Cole delivers personalized solutions for your unique situation. You have traffic tickets, need a business formation, real estate matters, one call will handle it all. Cole O. Combs Attorney at Law. Call 636-949-0010 extension 3 today or visit colecombs-law.com.
On the next
Larry Connors USA. The story behind the story. This date in 1993, the Monarch levee broke, flooding Chesterfield Valley.
Larry Connors USA. Now weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 101.9 News Talk STL. We've got the whole team in the studio this week. As I mentioned, joined live in studio now by my co-hosts from the Bluff City Outdoors show, which you can hear every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. here on News Talk STL. Local professional fisherman Mike Marfell is here. I got a backup producer. I got
my
I
gosh!
got a backup in here today.
When I jumped in the car and I heard the Pulp Fiction, I was like, "That's not Ashland."
Yeah, exactly. Also, Mark McMurray, my co-host, the owner of Bluff City Outdoors, is here.
Yep, present and accounted for.
And executive producer Captain Johnny, producer Johnny, filling in
over
for
here
Ashland.
fumbling everything. Don't mind me.
Filling in for Ashland this afternoon, and again tomorrow. Johnny will be in studio.
I swear it's not this bad on the Bluff City Outdoors show.
Johnny's, of course, our producer also every Saturday on the Bluff City Outdoors show.
Might get knocked down from captain to corporal.
Yeah, first hand or
first mate.
Yeah.
Just a demotion, yeah. So, as usual, I always the same setup. We don't talk politics on Saturdays because it's Saturday and we're talking about fun stuff like fishing and hunting and trapping and all the outdoors stuff. But when these guys are able to join me here in studio on Colombo and Company, both Mike and Mark are very politically active and knowledgeable, and Mark's a small business owner in the area, so it gives us a chance to talk about some of these issues. So I got some things I want to bring up, but we were just talking with Dr. Tobler in the last segment a little bit in the 2 o'clock hour about Fauci with Virginia Cruda. You said
I had 2 quotes. One of them is from Chase Hughes, who's an author who wrote about mind control, basically. But it's when a belief becomes mandatory, the truth is a liability. I mean, doesn't get much more accurate than that with that guy. I mean,
it doesn't.
I really want to see him put in a wood chipper. That might be a little extreme, but I mean,
slower fast speed.
Dull blades. And then the other one is the great Thomas Sowell. It's hard to imagine a more stupid or more dangerous way to make decisions than by putting those decisions in the hands of people who pay no price for being wrong.
Yeah.
That's great.
That is great. And
that sums up all politicians.
Exactly. I was just going to say that, Mark. That applies to the Fauci situation, but that applies to so much more.
So much stuff, yes.
On a wide level. I mentioned it earlier.
He's a wise man.
Thomas Sowell, the amount of college-educated people that have no idea who he is blows my mind.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
I mentioned it earlier. This list of names, when you hear these names, you just automatically think of all of the crimes and lies that they have told, over the years, and not one of these people have ever been held to account. Biden's, Clinton's, Nancy Pelosi, Anthony Fauci, James Comey. The list goes on.
There's some
Mark.
Republicans you can mix in there, too.
Absolutely. But when you hear those names, the first thing you think of is the controversies and the lies that
like
they told.
You said, nothing happens.
Yeah, it's the
they just get
first
richer.
thing our brain thinks of when we think of these people is their crimes and their lies, and yet not one of them has ever been held to account.
Yeah,
it's pretty amazing.
It is amazing. I mean,
what did you make of the circus with Fauci?
111.
111.
My blood pressure's still just.
Fifth.
Mark, don't answer that. Mark, don't answer that.
Yeah. You can choose not to answer that.
I'm going to plead the fifth here.
Yeah, it's that guy. I knew he was a weasel from the jump.
Yeah.
I mean, if you've been around since Reagan in an unelected position, you're a yes man. You're in it for you.
Yeah.
And there's no two ways about it.
And the fact that he knows that he has that pardon, that if he just keeps his mouth shut, you can't charge him for anything that he did. You got to try to get him on something new, lying to Congress or, something like that. And so he knows that thanks to Joe Biden, if he just doesn't say anything.
He's pretty much,
And I don't even think it tarnishes his legacy, Mike. We were talking about that with Virginia because
people worship that. There's people on the left defending
the people that love him. They don't look at this as he's been exposed. They just look at it as
the
evil.
rights being mean.
Yeah. So
he doesn't pass my test either, Mark, for a leader. I got to see you throw a ball. If you can't throw a ball, you're out.
Yes.
Him and Obama.
Him
and Obama
test,
both would have been out.
The first pitch test.
Hopefully, a state AG can build something and go after him there because and I'm also hoping maybe some people of families that lost loved ones can maybe do a civil case.
His lawyers did look nervous after Josh.
Well, the one got thrown out. So
well, he deserved it. He wasn't even supposed to be there.
Or it's certainly not supposed to be the one
sitting
testifying, answering the questions when Fauci wouldn't. I mentioned that we don't talk politics on Saturday mornings, except for when politics does bleed into, fishing and hunting and outdoor issues. And unfortunately, that's happened this week, and we'll probably get more into this story on Saturday. But did you guys see the bill that was proposed in Oregon? Luckily, it didn't make it on the ballot. It got shot down.
Remind me, I heard something about it.
But this shows you just how crazy the world is and how far the people on the left will go. There was a proposal in Oregon. Again, luckily it got shot down and is not going to make it to the ballot, but it had hundreds of thousands of. The reason it didn't make it is because they found that enough of the signatures on the petition were
fake.
Well, or just invalid for some reason.
Imagine that.
Otherwise, it would have been on
Shocking.
the ballot. Literally, it wasn't because common sense ruled the day or representatives or said, we can't do this. The only reason it didn't make it to the ballot is because of the petitions. It was an initiative. I think it was a initiative petition 28 in Oregon that would have criminalized fishing and hunting as under the auspice of cruelty to animals.
Oh my God!
It would have banned fishing and banned hunting in the state of Oregon.
But raising cattle and putting a prod in their forehead
Is that
to kill them
unbelievable? I mean, is that
that'd be next? I mean,
yeah. That's it's keep taking a little, right, Mark?
Mosquito would be down the road.
Yeah. You're right.
I will.
That's how the commies work.
I'm gonna give more details on the show on Saturday and kind of talk about it a little bit more. But I wanted to touch on it because it just shows you, Mark, that never get comfortable. Never get comfortable about, and
being
in
a
Illinois,
trapper and everything, you know.
and being in Illinois,
we've been attacked for centuries,
but
probably
no matter
decades
what
for sure.
No matter how much common sense you think something has, or how much you think, like here in Missouri, like, oh, we have a Republican supermajority in Jeff City, I don't have to worry about my gun rights or something else. No, never get comfortable because this kind of lunacy.
Yes,
and it is lunacy. I mean, one thing people need to understand, you can't stockpile wildlife. So their numbers can grow for a while, but you can't.
Then they'll start
and
dying
at some
off
point,
in disease
comes through and just wipes them out in mass.
You think we're cruel? Mother Nature's real.
Mother
cruel.
Nature's real cruel.
Yeah,
I mean,
but just amazing.
To your point,
this was
Tony,
an initiative in an entire state.
I mean, I'm not a smoker, but I think the only place you can smoke now is in your attic under the cover of darkness. It's wild. I mean, at first, it was smoking section, then go outside, then go 100 feet away, and now we just club you if you're smoking. I don't know. It's so you can't.
But we're happy to sell you the cigarettes.
Oh
and
yeah,
take all
well
the taxes.
taxes.
And I don't smoke, so I don't care.
I don't smoke either.
I don't care, but it's so evil and so condemned that you can't do it anywhere in public. But we'll sell you them all day. They're not. They're not that evil.
Yeah, I was going to say, when I started at McDonnell Douglas, you could smoke at your desk.
Yeah.
And by the time I left Boeing at the end, you could not
smoke on campus.
On campus.
Even outside?
You had to go off the property.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
As a non-smoker, I don't
either, but it'll work itself out.
But if somebody wants to go outside and smoke, it doesn't bother me one bit. Yeah, it doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, you couldn't see the tops of my dad's employees' heads at Miller's Mutual when I was a kid. You'd go in there, there's so much smoke. Yeah. Everybody smoked. I mean, young people don't understand that, but there were cigarettes and, ashtrays and airplanes.
Yeah.
So, it's...
It was everywhere. Yeah.
And I wish we'd put ashtrays back in cars because then maybe the butts wouldn't be at the intersection.
Yeah. Or like when you call something the cigarette light, like when you plug something in your car.
You call it the cigarette lighter?
And I say to my kids, oh, yeah, does that plug into the cigarette lighter? They're like,
huh?
What?
Yeah.
What? They
Times
have
they be changing.
No idea what I'm talking about when I say that.
That's me and you being more the libertarian style.
Yeah.
If you just allowed smoking and non-smoking restaurants, you could have a hot shots on each side of town. One was smoking, one was non-smoking. They'd be just as busy if one as the other.
Yeah.
It would sort itself out. It would sort itself out.
Yep.
Or just have.
I'm using hot shots as an example.
You mentioned smoking sections in restaurants. Even as a kid, I thought it was ridiculous.
Oh yeah, it's like wearing a mask.
There's a half wall right here.
It's a velvet rope.
It's somehow it's supposed to stop the smoke from crossing. But even if there's just a separate room, or whatever, it doesn't bother me if people smoke in a restaurant.
You say that, Tony, but lots of people bought the mask worked. So that's not a whole lot different than the velvet rope.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Sign of the times and perfect transition is these guys are going to go what?
We're professional.
You are professionals, absolutely. It's Mike Marfell and Mark McMurray from the Bluff City Outdoor Show, which you can hear every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. here on News Talk STL. These guys are going to stick around for one more segment as we get you to the Tim Jones and Chris Arp show at 4 o'clock. But speaking of sign of the times, there's a new term on the internet. They make up words and terms and...
Got to change the meaning and stuff. That's what the commies do.
That has to do with the workplace. And I'll explain it to you.
Okay,
as
man.
we continue.
I'm prepared.
Yes, yeah.
I bet you couldn't guess it.
No, probably not.
We'll talk about it as we continue with the guys from the Bluff City Outdoor Show next.
Words, weapons, sharper than knives. 2
Tuesday night.
Missouri decides 2026.
All the results and reactions from the Missouri State Primary.
You have to get out and vote.
From the voices you know and trust in St. Louis for election night coverage.
Amendment 4.
Amendment 5.
County executives.
Coverage begins Tuesday night at 7 on St. Louis's conservative voice.
Right here.
News Talk STL. Brought to you by Fast Signs in Bridgeton, 21 Recycling in House Springs, Gemini Wealth Group, and Freddie's Market.
When Donald Trump needs conservative votes to help pass his agenda for Missouri, Representative Tricia Burns never answers the call. Tricia Burns has missed 370 votes. Burns is bucking President Trump's priorities. Burns did not vote to stop DEI initiatives, prevent China from owning Missouri land, defund Planned Parenthood, and Burns did not vote to ban boys from girls' sports. Tricia Burns not showing up for Missouri and President Trump. Instead, Tricia Burns spends her time pulling pranks on the suicide prevention hotline. Yes, you heard that right. Tricia Burns lied to the police and staged a fake suicide emergency. She sent a series of messages to the hotline and said she, quote, had a gun to her head, end quote. When she got caught, she said there'd be no consequences because she's a politician. By August 4th, vote to show Tricia Burns that there are consequences to being bad at your job. Cut the Bullpack paid for and is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidate committee.
News Talk STL is celebrating our 5th birthday. And we're giving away a limited edition News Talk STL America 250 t-shirts. It's exclusive, it's collectible, and it could be yours. Just head to newstalkstl.com to register.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, News Talk.
Been listening since day one.
Happy birthday to my talk station.
5 years, happy birthday.
News Talk STL.
News Talk STL. Happy birthday to us, and good luck to you. JC's Wayback Machine.
Saturday is the 45th anniversary of the debut of MTV. We'll reminisce with VJ Kennedy. And this week in 1994, it was the first in a series of outdoor concerts at Busch Stadium, and you'll hear the only known recording of the first 2 songs that night with Billy Joel and Elton John. All brought to you by the Weber Automotive Group.
It's JC's Wayback Machine. Every Saturday night, 6 to 9. On News Talk STL.
Travis Wilson here, State Representative of District 106 in St. Charles, Missouri's first state capital. As a 31-year resident of St. Charles County, I know the issues that are important to our residents, such as protecting women's sports, stopping harmful procedures on minors, and fighting the woke agenda. As your representative, I know what it takes to bring new opportunities to our community to ensure our children have a brighter future. It's been the honor of a lifetime for my family and me to represent you, and I humbly ask for your vote again on August 4th.
Paid for by Wilson for St. Charles. Merle Schneider, Treasurer.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com.
Move outside and let the man go through. Let the man go through. Welcome back to Colombo and Company on 1019, 94.1 News Talk STL. Tony Colombo here in studio with the entire team from the Bluff City Outdoor Show, which you can hear every Saturday morning here on News Talk STL.
Also known as The Talent.
The Talent.
You know, yeah, rating spike in progress.
One thing about Colombo and Company, the bumper music never disappoints, whether it's Johnny or Ashlyn.
I know.
It's good stuff.
Yeah. No, I yell at Ashlyn in the car
We
sometimes.
know what we're doing here.
I'm screaming at the radio.
You're bringing it.
We do need more Henry
Johnny,
Rollins, but other than that, it's
that's
good.
Producer Johnny in for Ashlyn today and tomorrow, who's also our producer on the Bluff City Outdoor Show. Mike Marfell is here. Mark McMurray is here as well.
I wear that little white captain hat, though, on
You
the
are.
Bluff City Outdoor
That's
Show.
true.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Captain
of my own kayak.
Captain of the kayak and captain of the program. Just talking in that last segment about, the
elf.
The new generation, Gen Z. I said that there's a new term that's gone viral on the internet that Gen Z employees are using. So they used to say that you shouldn't, or that you should find a job that you love. Mark, right? You find a job you love and you don't have to work a day in your life, right? That was the old saying.
Yeah. So I mean, there's
in theory.
I
in
agree.
theory.
I agree with that. But apparently they've given up on that.
They give up pretty easy.
Apparently they've given up on finding, just joy every day, and they've broken it down to something smaller. And now what Gen Z workers are trying to do is find just like moments of joy or rest or peace or whatever it may be while they're at work. And that has that action or whatever you would call it.
I'm rolling my eyes so hard. I don't even know.
Has a term that describes it. Anybody want to guess?
I can't get into the head of those
I'm
people.
not that stupid. I couldn't. Yeah, I don't think I could really dumb it
I'm
down.
based in reality.
This is what the Gen Zers are telling the other Gen Zers to do, to find moments of, quote, micro joy.
Oh, my God.
In your daily.
I feel that you have just microaggressed me, and now I'm going to file a complaint.
Gen Zers are trying to enhance their workplace culture with so-called micro joys. Those are small moments that make the workday more enjoyable, productive, or sustainable.
This Gen Xer responds with a hand signal.
Yeah, they haven't had a pizza party yet? I mean, come on. What's management doing over there?
Have a good cup of coffee. That's joy.
Yes, that's how I started the day at Boeing.
Micro joy.
Put the pot of coffee on.
Yep. Every once in a while, I'll show up with White Castle breakfast sandwiches, and everybody's happy.
Come in and get a nice cup.
And actually, that's kind of one of the examples. So if you're wondering, what is a micro joy? So you can start implementing them in your life.
I'm good.
According to the internet here, the micro joys are like things like stepping outside for fresh air, enjoying a snack or beverage that you like during your workday, or this is my favorite, this is exactly what it says, having a conversation with a cool coworker.
I'm going to be busy.
It's
called, did we just used to call that being a human, Mark?
Yes, that's just being a normal human being.
Right.
You have that conversation by the
How
coffee
do I
pot.
identify who qualifies for a micro joy of a cool conversation? Like, where's that line? How do I know which coworker?
I have cool
enough?
conversations. I get sent to HR. I don't know what's going on.
And what's crazy is that there were hundreds of people in this survey, and 75% of them said that they look for these moments of micro joy. 75%.
Why do you got to look for them?
Micro joy is a real.
It should just happen if you're a good person.
Yeah.
Treat people right. That's just going to happen.
Yeah.
Well, micro joy.
I'll tell you what.
I've had jobs where I can relate where lunch is the best part of the day.
Oh,
sure.
You know?
Sure.
So, I mean, I can relate to
But
that.
they call it
Yes.
work. You didn't buy a ticket to go.
Yeah, we don't need a term for it.
No.
And we don't need.
I want to punch these people in the face.
We don't need to make it.
So many
Here's some advice. Yeah. You should always look for fun in life.
Try to get joy.
Period.
Yes,
and get
period.
some joy out of every moment.
Yeah.
I don't need to be told about creating micro joys.
I pray to be sexually harassed at work.
In life, at work, at home, with my family, whenever. Yeah,
So
try
much
to
of that stuff.
Have a little bit of fun.
The initial part that when I was in high school, senior, one of my buddies' dads, Robert Schulteis, he gave me the best advice getting ready to head into the college, the workforce. He said all these parents are telling their kids to go into get a job you love, go into a field you love. He goes, that's the wrong advice. He goes, you need to go into a field that's going to be financially rewarding enough that will enable you
to buy a boat,
to do what you enjoy and love.
Yep.
He said, because so many times you go down this, you're the starving artist. Well, you
work
can't
to live.
It's right in the title.
Yes.
Instead of live to work to live.
Yes.
Work
to do what you
can enjoy.
Yeah. And I thought that's just brilliant, great advice.
Yeah.
I took it. I mean, I computer
that
science.
Would be
a
major joy.
Oh yeah.
When are we going to get to micro joy or our macro joys? When is that?
We did that. That was the 80s. We kind of missed that.
We did that one already?
I lived through it barely.
Hey, I want to ask you guys. I love this question. I love these kinds of.
It's almost like Fun Time Friday.
Either ors. Yeah, exactly. We talked about this yesterday with Mark Close and Skip Weber on Close's Cabinet, but there's another poll that's gone super viral on the internet asking people, which would you pick? $50,000 handed to you instantly right now, no questions asked, or a coin flip 50-50 chance at $1 million. So $50,000 right now, no questions asked, for sure, or a 50-50 chance at getting $1 million or zero.
The answer to this question really tells you about, as I'm thinking about it, and I know what I would say. I'm not going to tell you, but I know what I would say. And it tells you about the mentality, I think, of the the people and where they are in life, too.
I changed it a little bit in the conversation yesterday, and I think I boosted it to 150 or $1 million. Because as I thought about it, $50,000, while it would be amazing, it wouldn't be, 20 years from now.
It's not even a new pickup.
That $50,000 wouldn't have changed the path of my life. $150,000 starts to kind of to do that.
Yeah. So what about the loss, though? Did you consider the pain of the loss of the coin flip?
Yeah, the zero. Yeah, right. Well, I didn't say which one I'm taking, but I'm saying instead of 50,000 or $1 million, let's do 150,000 or $1 million.
I'm taking 150.
Yeah, 150. I'm taking the 150. 50. I'm doing the coin toss.
Yep, same.
Yeah.
Because the 50 isn't going to change my life. 150 is going to pay off my house.
So that makes all the difference. What about you?
I'm taking the 50. There's no way I'm winning that coin toss.
So you're definitely taking the 150.
I'll put the money in my pocket right now.
Yeah.
That's not. I don't begrudge you for that, but I'm with Mark. It's like, yeah, $1 million.
50, I would really have to think about it.
Yeah, but 150, I wouldn't even.
150.
Right now.
I'm frugal. I'll live that 50 like it's 75.
Yeah, but really interesting, and that's the overwhelming. I want to say it was 65%. Yeah, 65% of the people said that they would take the $50,000.
Because we're broke out here.
Now, as long as Johnny said, I'm going to take the 50, but don't go down to the casino and put it on black.
Oh no, I'd squirrel it away.
Yeah, take the 50 and then go gamble it away immediately. Yeah, that might be like a Gen Z.
That might be the great way to start my professional.
I mean,
gambling
you're
career,
right.
Though.
You could throw in 50 in an investment.
Yeah,
and just forget it even happened.
One more here real quick and this kind of stays on the same topic of like a sign of the times. Somebody put out a list of things that were normal struggles for generations in the past, just normal parts of everyday life that would break young people today.
Oh, yeah.
For example,
long list.
For example,
rain,
waiting by the phone for a call, like not being able to instantly text or call or like waiting for somebody to call or not being able to get a hold of them immediately. Oh, they're not home. You just gotta wait.
Yeah,
like that would break the break. Or
absolutely.
If you are out and you need to get a hold of somebody, finding and using a payphone.
Yeah,
how that would
using a map.
Well, another one, finding out about snow days. We talk about that one in the winter all the time. How you're huddled by the television or the radio, listening and waiting and like for that alphabetical.
They
order.
know before bed now, right? Usually, like, what is that?
Or when they do, it's like your phone is like when our kids have a snow day, like. My phone's blowing up. My wife's phone's blowing up.
Kids' phone's
texts,
blowing up.
Yeah, the phone. Then the phone's ringing. Then immediately. I remember, having to wait and watch or listen to every school district go by in alphabetical order.
I was lucky. I lived in Alton, so it was first.
I was Hazelwood.
Not bad. Not bad.
I was Hazelwood, so it always would get to Grandview. And then it would either go Hazelwood or it would go Hillsboro. And if you heard Hillsboro, you went, no!
Oh, it missed you, yeah.
It missed us.
That's
Dude,
awesome.
I went to St. Louis public schools, and they always, deep down there with the St. John.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that would, I just picture my daughter trying to wait through that. It would absolutely break her brain.
Not having the ability to walk around with their phone on speaker either would probably break their brain.
That is Mike Marfell, Mark McMurray, and Captain Johnny. You can hear all of these guys and me every Saturday morning, 11 a.m. here on News Talk STL, the Bluff City Outdoors Show. Check out Bluff City Outdoors in Alton for all your fishing and hunting needs, trapping needs, and more. BluffCityOutdoors.com and on Facebook. Colombo and Company back tomorrow at 2. Larry's commentary and Tim Jones and Chris Arps next.
You are so romantic, and I love the kitchen you found with all these great crumbs.
Yeah, baby, only the finest crumbs in the kitchen for my favorite aunt. Oh no, it's the pest control company again with those green wheels. They always kill the mood.
This is Derek, the owner of All Solutions Pest Control. Give us a call today at 636-486-7888. We'd love to help you out. Learn more about our special $67 offer. You can visit us online at allsolutionspestcontrol.com.
If a pest-free home is your